coins that can provide huge returns. What we're going to talk about, and we're going to focus today on RWA, real world asset tokenization. I'm Brian, this is Crypto for the Rest of Us. If you watch this show, I greatly appreciate it. Please hit that like button down below. I have a little over 2,000 people subscribed. I've been doing the show for about 6 months. I really don't know how helpful this is for other people. I've been investing in crypto for quite a while. I've been in technology my entire life. For the last year and a half, since 23, I've been all in on crypto, researching everything I can get my hands on. And I'm providing it on a daily basis, 6 days a week. And is it that helpful to people? I don't even know. Not the most charismatic person. You're not going to get a lot of bells and whistles. You're just getting the actual type of research that I do before I buy something. And if I have something, I tell you. Big dumb animal, don't do what I do. Informational purposes only. Please do hit that like and subscribe. Otherwise, obviously, if this isn't providing value, there's no reason for me to keep recording these. But real world asset tokenization is a rabbit hole that I started going down. Now, if you've been following me, you know I've got a handful of investments in certain categories that I believe will do well. I usually said in the past that I kind of see RWA and DeFi as somewhat the same, but they're not. However, they're going to be hugely intertwined, and let's talk about why. And let's talk about real world asset tokenization and why I'm even looking at it. Well, this is the chart I used the other day, and you can see here some of the top categories for 2024, AI, DeFi, RWA, and other things. So this is a hot category, as well it should be, because this is not a BS category. We are literally, in my opinion, looking at the tip of an iceberg. Real world asset tokenization is providing a service to make markets and everyday transactions way more efficient than they currently are. Not only is it not going to go away, it's going to displace the way we currently do things. Easy example. It's going to be at some point that our cars and the title to the car, I don't know if you've ever bought a car and you're paying a loan, or maybe you paid cash, but when you finally pay for the car, let's say you have a loan and you pay it off, you get a title. Some DMVs, and in specific, 50 states in the US, we get a physical title. Actually, I don't know how it works in other countries, and it's usually a piece of paper, and some of the DMVs have electronic titles and whatnot. But if I want to sell my car to someone and they come over and I say, hey, you want my Honda Accord? It's 20 years old, 120,000 miles. They're like, sure, I'll give you $2,000. I'm like, perfect. They hand me $2,000 or a check or whatever it may be, and I can sign on the back of the title and assign it to them. They sign the title, they take it to the DMV. The DMV now transfers it into their name. Inefficient system. Got to go to the DMV. That stinks. Obviously, if someone can just come over and just send me money or just buy my token, and that token represents the real world asset, which is my physical car, by buying the token, they now own my car, and it tells the DMV, and the transaction's done. You can see where this is going. Most of the time, people have started talking about real-world asset tokenization. First, you heard about things like treasuries with Ondo. The treasury market, they've made it much easier. 24/7, short-term treasuries, buy, sell, easy. Of course, people are talking about real estate, cars. Think about if you've ever bought luxury goods like art. I got a friend who has an amazing amount of art. Got me into it around 2008 when I was living and working in San Francisco, and there were plenty of art galleries, and I got into it, so I've been collecting art. Well, we always talked about the whole problem of knowing, is that an original piece? It makes sense to pay to have your $1 million piece of art authenticated. That yes, they call it the provenance. Here's how that piece of art goes all the way back to the original creator. Here's all the people that owned it. We can prove that that's the original. Well, there's also things like prints, and it's not uncommon for people to sell prints. I actually have some prints myself. They're amazing. And sometimes they'll do limited prints, like 1 of 100. Well, the print isn't a physical painting. It's usually incredible paper with an incredible printer, you name it. They do a limited amount. They usually sign them. Same thing. How do you know? Well, if we start tokenizing things like that, amazing. If that token would represent that piece of art, there's so much that you can do. Okay, So now you get the general idea. In real-world asset tokenization, the market, and I stole this from one of the websites that I'll show you, you can see here's various banks like Bank of America, Citibank, and others saying how much they think the real-world asset market will be in the next, let's say, 5 years. 5 trillion, 16 trillion, 30 trillion. The average was about 14.6 trillion going on chain in the next 5 years. Significant amount. Okay. Obviously, this is a big deal. And when we talk about transactions like real estate transactions, now, I don't practice anymore, but I was an attorney and I did intellectual property, patents, that sort of thing. I didn't deal with real estate. However, I have sold my own home, not using a realtor. Nothing wrong with realtors. I just did it once. I was interested in the process, and I essentially just used a title company, and both parties showed up, and we were able to get it done, and we didn't have to, we kind of streamlined the process, but it was still not an easy process. Well, I would love the day when someone can buy the token that represents my home, and I can buy a token representing another home, and I can do it Friday evening at 7 o'clock while I'm eating spaghetti in front of the television. That would be awesome. That's where we're going. Or I can get a loan on my house, like a home equity loan, and maybe someone can buy one of 10 tokens that represent my house, and I can put up 1/10 of my house as collateral. There's all sorts of things that can go on. Okay, so like I've said before, my portfolio is mainly large cap, even though I'm in multiple categories and I've got about 60 tokens. Majority of them are probably 500 million or a billion or more in market cap for various reasons. I'm trying to play it safe and conservative. However, we still have yet to start the bull run. And the other day I dug in and I said, hey, let's look at what I do the other day. Was it DeFi? So AI. And I went down and said, let's find small cap ones. I got as small as like 6 million market cap. And I think I came up with 4 or 5 that I ended up buying. And like I said, not financial advice, but I started down what I call the rabbit hole because there are way more RWA interesting projects than I had any idea. And I've always said, if you're looking at a particular category, try to break it up because not everything does everything. For example, in real world asset tokenization, you might have layer ones that are trying to help facilitate bringing assets on chain, and they may not actually be bringing assets on chain. They might be providing the layer to other companies and saying, hey, if you have assets you want to bring on chain, use our layer one. That's different than someone, and for example, that would be, let's talk about, as I went down through these, let's see, that would be, something like, would it be AVAX or Mantra? So I always say if I own them, I don't think I own a Link, yeah, Hedera, yeah. So if we look at this list here, AVAX is a layer one. I don't think it belongs in the RWA list. Chainlink. So we just talked about number 4 here in the list in terms of market cap. Mantra. They're a layer one specific to RWA. I own them for that reason. Hedera, I love Hedera. I have Hedera. However, it's not specific to RWA, and tokenization can be used for that. They have some tools for that. However, it's not the only thing it's doing. I'm looking for it's the only thing they're doing, and I'm looking for actual tokenization. Now, Chainlink, what it does is it's taking off-chain data, real-world data, and bringing it on-chain. It's kind of bridging that gap, and I believe it's doing it in many ways, but for RWA. Okay, so as I go down this list, I'm not interested in these. The first one of it, no, I have some, but I'm saying the first one specific to RWA would be Ondo in my mind. And let me explain Ondo and do the second thing I said I was going to do, which is kind of tie DeFi and RWA together. And then I'm going to jump right in and show you 4 small caps that I think are RWA specific that are very interesting. And I'm going to do this takes a lot of research, so I'm probably going to do a couple episodes, and each one I'll unveil multiple RWAs, save you the time of having to do it. But let's talk about Ondo for a second. They tokenized treasuries. Okay, so you're familiar probably with getting a CD. You go to the bank, you lock up your money for a certain amount of time, then you get it back at a certain point in the future, you get like a 3-month CD, and they say, okay, you're going to get 6%. Well, treasuries, you can buy and sell them, but that's essentially a CD, but from the federal government, the US government. And why do people do that? It provides a decent yield, and it's considered incredibly safe because will the government pay you back? Yeah. How? Well, they print money and they just give it to you. So it's considered very safe. So for older people like myself, a portion of our savings is probably in more secure things. Okay, so they made it easy. Treasuries, yeah, you can buy and sell them, but they usually auction them certain days of the month, depending upon the type of treasury. So by doing this, it's a 24/7. Whenever you want them, you can buy and sell them. There's some nuances at the moment. Institutions, sort of investors that are certified, certain net worth, various things. But bottom line is, they essentially have tokens which represent the underlying asset, which is that treasury. So now I no longer have to go buy that treasury. I can do this 7 days a week, 24/7. I can go ahead and purchase treasuries. I can also, the second part of what they have a DeFi protocol. So the interesting thing here is, here's where RWA meets DeFi. You can take that token of that asset and you can now use it, for example, in a decentralized finance protocol as collateral to then get a loan. So let's flash forward. I got 3 cars. I got the titles to those 3 cars. Do I want to go to I can't stand banks. If you watch my show, you know I'm debanking myself through crypto. It's the best thing in the world. Very excited because I can't stand banks. I don't want to go to the bank. I don't want to talk to the bank person. I don't want to have to go through all the trouble of getting a quick $5,000 loan because I need a new air conditioner or whatever I might want to do, and not sell crypto. I just want to get some cash and do it and then pay it back over the next couple months. I can do that like that through a DeFi lending protocol. At the moment, most loans are what they call over collateralized. So I might have to put up $10,000 worth of crypto to take out 6,000 of a stable coin, convert it to cash, buy my air conditioner. Okay, well, you can see where this is going. If I've got a token that represents my car, eventually I'm just going to be able to use my car as collateral and get a quick loan. Okay, that's where real world asset, that's just one terrible example from a dum-dum. There's probably many great examples from smart people of how real world assets and DeFi is going to merge, and you're going to use them together. So I own Ondo. I like it. It's a big market cap. That's not one of the ones I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and dig into 4 that I think are phenomenal. RBNT, I'll put it up here on the screen. Redbelly. Okay, here's Redbelly. Redbelly Network, RBNT. Now, in terms of where they are, MEXC, Gate.io, I haven't bought this one yet. I haven't bought any of the ones I'm talking about yet. I'm going to wait till I'm done all my research and figure out which ones I'm going to invest in. I think this one's really interesting. $186 million market cap. This is, you'll probably see this on Friday the 10th, maybe Saturday. 1.7 billion fully diluted. I always look at that. Some people say it doesn't matter. I believe it does. Redbelly Network, here you go. Enabling asset issuers to tokenize and trade compliant on-chain structured projects. And they have this really easy, big dumb animal can understand picture. It's like a picture book. Here are the RWA issuers. Could be anybody who wants to tokenize a bunch of stuff. Here's the DApp, their network, if you will. And then here's an RWA investor, someone who might want to buy one of those tokens. So they're providing the network so that someone can come to them and say, I want to tokenize, I don't know, all of my art. I've been doing this for 30 years. We're going to tokenize all my future art and sell it through tokens. As an example, here are the people who want to buy the tokens. And what's interesting is they've got 2, I'm going to do a longer video on them because they've got 2 of these on here, customers that talked about it. And one was private equity and the other one was with respect to real estate. So this isn't a project that is still in test mode. This has been implemented and it's being used. And they have here that when they say number 1 global RWA assets issued on chain, they've got Ethereum at around 60 billion and they have themselves at around 83 billion. So they're claiming they have 249 nodes. They've patented some part of their structure. 226,000 wallets created. It's gone up significantly since 23. It looks like they started in 24. 20,000 transactions per second. Interesting. I'd never heard of them, but what they're doing is quite impressive. So that's the first one. Okay, so next is TokenFi. Market cap, 52 million. Small. Fully diluted, only 500, a little over 500 million. So I consider this to be very small. And what they do is in the RWA space, you can create the tokens or tokenized assets in a simple all-in-one platform without writing a single line of code. Brilliant. So they have their token launcher. They have a way to raise money for tokens through what they call their launchpad. And then they have AI smart contract auditor, which allows on-the-spot audit of tokens. Perfect. That's exactly the solution. They have an end solution for tokenizing assets without any technical knowledge and being able to audit it on the spot, giving the purchasers that sense of security in what they're purchasing. Okay, that's TokenFi. Very interesting. The third one, Opulous. Now, I'm not a music person, meaning I don't know much about music. I just know the general about the industry itself. OPUL. Market cap 24 million, fully diluted only 32 million. Almost all of their coin is out. And believe it or not, they're on many different markets. And let's take a look at the Opulous site. So this is called tokenized music assets. This I think is interesting because if you've been following the music industry over time, there used to be a time when they made a lot of money from their music itself, selling of CDs and whatnot. And then when I guess Apple and iTunes and all that came about, my understanding is they don't make quite as much from the sale of music. A lot of them, I think, make the majority of their money through concerts and things like that. So the whole industry got sort of turned upside down. But this is interesting. Tokenized music assets get access to the $28 billion global music industry with a new layer of transparency through AI. What they say here through staking is that it says music catalogs are one of the fastest growing real world assets. If you've heard and you do some research, some of the music catalogs, like from what was the Beatles sold years ago for like 60 million, that was probably not much. There's other catalogs that have been sold significantly more, I'm sure. And now they're tokenized and available to you through the blockchain. Get access to music catalogs, including artists and the music catalogs themselves and the labels. So, and then they talk about tickets and that sort of thing. So this is interesting. Tokenization of artists and music catalogs. If you're into that sort of thing, I would think this makes perfect sense. So this is a good example of a solution of tokenizing assets, and they're going after a very narrow niche market. Is that going to work out? I don't know. But it's interesting, and it's incredibly low market cap. Okay, so the next one is Lumia. Market cap only 103 million, fully diluted 276. So that's like, 40% of the tokens out. Lumia is on there's many different exchanges. No problem getting it. And they say that they have a solution for the entire life cycle of real world assets. They describe that as 1, the asset tokenization, 2, liquidity aggregation, and 3, connecting it to DeFi and Web3 traders. Real quick, under key partnerships, RWA tokenization platforms. This was interesting. This is why I find this one interesting. Lumia doesn't compete with other RWA projects. Instead, they believe in a collaborative approach to ensuring mass adoption of Web3. Because of this, Lumia is partnered with Mantra and other RWA platforms, tokenization platforms, to seamlessly bring their tokenized assets to DeFi. And then under here, when they talk about protocols, they've integrated with several DeFi protocols such as Uniswap, 1inch, PancakeSwap, and others. That way, you're doing everything from soup to nuts in terms of tokenizing it and then getting it onto a DeFi platform. Now, here is their website. It has all sorts of information, but I shot over to their Twitter because on their roadmap, I'll save you the time, I believe they're still in a testnet application. Their main net hasn't been launched yet. And on Twitter, I believe they said, if we just go down here, there you go, this Thursday, January 9th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., the Lumia testnet, it's today, the day I'm recording this, will be temporarily down for maintenance as we take the final step toward our massive mainnet update. All right, interesting. So this could be at the very beginning stages of this one. 103 market cap, 276. So those were the 4. I'll put them up here again so you can check them out. RBNT, Redbelly, and I think I might do an entire show on that because that one's very interesting. TokenFi, OPUL for Opulous, and then here Lumia for Lumia. I'm going to keep digging in. I'll do more shows. The research takes a while. I only talked about 4 small market cap ones. There's many more. I did not even talk about the ones that I didn't think were worth mentioning. I went through them myself and said, not worth it. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Again, please do hit that like button if this is providing value. And I always say, hope we can make generational wealth together with crypto. Thanks for watching.